It's a great pleasure for me, in very difficult circumstances, I must say, to receive here in Luxembourg the Prime Minister of Ukraine, Denisa Šmigaля. We had a very good conversation, the two of us, and together with our delegations. And I must say this is an emotional visit, an historical visit, because it reminds us Luxembourgers so much of what happened to our country at the beginning of World War II. I know it from my parents and grandparents. Luxembourg was invaded by Nazi Germany, and the Germans had one intention: to erase Luxembourg from the map. And unfortunately, in 2022, the same happened to Ukraine. Putin's Russia invaded in an unprovoked manner Ukraine. We all saw what he said on television. They wanted to erase Ukraine from the map. And I'm impressed by the resilience and the motivation of the Ukrainians to defend their country. But I can tell you, Mr. Prime Minister, dear Denis, we are on the side of Ukraine. You are not alone in this. You and your people have to fight for this, but we know that your fight is also our fight. Your war is, unfortunately, I must say, also our war. Because we believe that what you are fighting for is about the principles and values we stand for and we believe in since the end of the Second World War and that since the end of the Cold War. We believe in democracy, the rule of law. We believe in territorial integrity, in sovereign nations where borders cannot be changed, by force. And therefore, you are fighting for our principles. And the second point why we think that this war needs, on the side of Ukraine, our full support is that if Russia would win, Russia would not stop in the eastern provinces of Ukraine. We saw that in 2014. Maybe in our part of Europe, we did not fully realize what might happen after the invasion of Crimea, but we learned it the hard way in 2022. And that is the reason why, on behalf of the Luxembourg government, I can tell you that we will do everything to support Ukraine from a political point of view, from a military point of view, a humanitarian point of view, a financial point of view. Political point of view, we supported wholeheartedly the declaration by the European Council. European Council was, by the way, the first European Council I attended, to give Ukraine the status of a candidate to join, after negotiations, the European Union. We want Europe to be the place where all the democratic countries are united to ensure peace, stability, security, prosperity. We also believe that in the long term we need to have a European security community to which, of course, Ukraine fully belongs. We will continue to support with our means Ukraine from a military point of view. We don't have all types of weapons that Ukraine may need, but we can support you in different coalitions with others. That's why we, together with our Benelux partners, join the Czech initiative to buy ammunition that Ukraine needs. That's why we are leading an IT coalition to support the Ukrainian armed forces in building the necessary resilience when it comes to cyber attacks and similar IT issues. That is why we are in some other coalitions. So we will support you, and I can tell you that last year we spent 16% of our defense budget to support Ukraine. And this will go on. And we are fully united in this in the Luxembourg government that Ukraine needs our full support. We will continue to support Ukraine from a humanitarian point of view. both in Ukraine and in Luxembourg. We welcomed a number of Ukrainian refugees. They are most welcome here in Luxembourg because we know what it meant also in the Second World War when Luxembourgers fled to other countries to find temporary refuge to be protected against the invaders. And that goes also vis-à-vis the Ukrainians who are right now in Luxembourg. But also on the ground, we will make sure that we can support with our companies the reconstruction of Ukraine. And finally, from a financial perspective, we have been an active contributor also to the international organizations such as the IMF, the European Union, to give the necessary financial means that Ukraine needs to survive in these difficult circumstances. So in short, dear Denis, be sure that Luxembourg will stand by Ukraine. We will continue to be in close contacts also in the coming weeks and months to make sure that your proposals and the proposals by President Zelensky to bring about peace in your country, which is the ultimate goal, peace and stability in Europe, that we will be on your side. We discussed that together. There will be steps to come towards a conference, hopefully in Switzerland later this year, and Luxembourg will be part of those who want to have the territorial integrity and sovereignty of Ukraine re-established, and also to have a lasting peace on the European continent. Thank you for being here, and I look forward to cooperating with you closely during the coming months, and hopefully we can see the end of this terrible war in the not too distant future. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Prime Minister.
Dear Mr. Prime Minister, dear Luke, dear colleagues, journalists, today we had important talks with my colleague, distinguished Luka Frідена, Prime Minister. This is our first face-to-face meeting, and it is therefore particularly significant. Ukraine is at a turning point of our history. We are fighting for our freedom and at the same time returning to the family of European nations. We are keeping up the pace of European integration. We have implemented 11 key recommendations of the European Commission, obtained the EU negotiating framework, and are preparing to open pre-accession negotiations. Our ambition is to move faster than any country that has done so before. In this context, the support of Luxembourg as a founding member of the European Union is extremely important to us. We look forward to continued solidarity and maximum support. Ukraine is very grateful to Luxembourg for the comprehensive assistance we have received since the first days of full-scale war. We appreciate Luxembourg's contribution, in particular the advocacy of macro-financial assistance last year and the promotion of the Ukraine Facility Program this year. We are grateful for the intention to contribute to Ukraine's recovery. Luxembourg has shown interest in the reconstruction of the Kryvyi Rih districts of the Dnipro region, a powerful industrial center of my country. This is a very positive example, and we expect the implementation of the projects to start soon. We are confident that reconstruction will be our common cause. Only with a restored Ukraine there will be a strong Europe. Today we will sign an intergovernmental agreement between Ukraine and Luxembourg on technical and financial cooperation. We are defining its nature and forms of provision, the mechanism for approving programs, benefits, privileges and immunities for our Luxembourg partners. In this way, we are creating a framework for the intensification of cooperation, which will undoubtedly bring positive results. We value our cooperation in the military field. Dear Prime Minister, you mentioned this today, and we really are very grateful. We appreciate Luxembourg's co-chairing of the IT coalition, which you mentioned. its active participation in the drone, demining and artillery coalitions, as well as joining the F-16 coalition. We have room to deepen cooperation. This will strengthen Ukraine's defense capabilities and bring us closer to defeating the enemy. We are paying special attention to the policy of sanctions against Russia. I am grateful to Luxembourg for supporting the 13th EU package, sanction package, At the same time, we should talk not only about the number of sanctions, but also about their quality and effectivity. Our common task is to cut off all ways of financing Russia's aggressive war. And we discussed this actually today with Mr. Prime Minister and governmental team. This requires maximum pressure on the metallurgical, financial, energy and agricultural sectors of the Russian economy. We need a total ban on Russian food exports to Europe. After all, these exports include stolen Ukrainian grain. We need an embargo on Russian oil and gas. Export control must be tightened to prevent evasion of sanctions. We are counting on the support of Luxembourg and all European partners. One of the key issues of the dialogue with Europe today is the confiscation of frozen Russian assets. In particular, according to preliminary data, more than 6 billion euros of Russian funds are held in Luxembourg. Our principal position is that these funds should now be made available to Ukraine. This will be fair, just and responsible to the thousands of victims of Russian aggression and Russian terrorism. It will help us survive the war and continue our reconstruction. Today, EU countries are close to a consensus on transferring the profits from the Russian assets to Ukraine. We are grateful to Luxembourg for supporting this initiative, but Ukraine sees this only as a first step towards full confiscation. For us, it is fundamental that all frozen Russian sovereign assets be used for Ukraine's sustainability and recovery. The confiscation of Russian assets is an important element of the global security architecture. We must set a precedent where the aggressor is punished and pays for its aggression. Another important aspect is the implementation of President Volodymyr Zelensky's peace formula. We are grateful to Luxembourg and personally to Prime Minister. Thank you so much for your consistent support, in particular for your readiness to join in the implementation of the 7th point of the formula, which refers to punishing Russia for its crimes. Preparations are underway for the Global Peace Summit in Switzerland. We expect more than 100 countries to participate. We would like that all countries of the world participate in this peace forum. I am confident that Luxembourg will make a significant contribution to this major forum, which will bring us closer to a just peace and global security. Dear Mr. Prime Minister, dear Luke, I would like to once again express my gratitude to you personally, to your government, to your country, to your people. I believe that for more than 2 years we have stood side by side, fighting together against the Russian evil, and we will win. We believe that our friends and partners will stand by us for as long as it takes. And you told us today, thank you for this. It brings us much more motivation and more strengthening for my country and my people and our people. We appreciate all that has been done. We know we can do more. Together we will win. Thank you for your attention. Thank you personally.